friends. This is the Be Real Babe podcast, a place where your average babes come together to talk about life stresses, messes, and successes. A place where being yourself is the ultimate goal, where your opinion, your story, and your individual experience matters. Join me, your host B, and my guests for real and raw talks every week, laying it all out there so we can all help each other learn more, grow deeper, and evolve collectively. Now keep in mind, as a disclaimer, no one here is an expert and no one is giving any advice. This is strictly our opinions, thoughts, feelings, and for entertainment purposes only. Now with that being said, it's time. So grab your drink, grab your joint, and let's jump right in. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Be Real Babe podcast. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by the show today. I hope that you have a good time. And if you're a returning listener, watcher, supporter, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for coming back time and time again. For those that don't know me, my name is Brandy. I'm the host of the show, and today you guys are on episode 215, Being Real About Botox Injury, Part 2 with Stephanie. You guys, I told you I had a series coming out, and this one is going to be so impactful. I just know already, you guys. These women are absolutely incredible. I am so proud of their bravery, and I'm so honored that they allowed me to be the platform that they shared their stories with, because you guys know that my ultimate goal in this episode, in these series, in this whole entire show is for you guys to have informed consent so girlies can do, or boys too, so everyone, humans, can do what they want to do, but feel like they are a little bit more informed, have a little bit more ideas, have some people in their contacts, in their groups, so they can reach out if something ever happens. Through my advocacy journey, you guys, all I ever hear is that people didn't know. They didn't know these things, and rightfully fucking so. Who has time? Who has money? People that are giving you services, they don't always line up, and they're not always good people. So I completely understand the lack of understanding sometimes when we do things. That is what the point of the show is so that you can take these seeds and plant them, or maybe just hold on to them until one day maybe some water gets dumped on it, and now you're going through something, and now you need to talk to someone in that area or someone that's experienced it, and you can remember, hey, I remember B had a series on this, right? That is the whole point. I don't do this to fearmonger people. I don't do this to hurt your feelings, even though I'm sure I do. I do this because I want you to be fucking informed so that you do not have to sit there and suffer longer than you have to, so that you can go into services maybe knowing a little bit more than you did before, because again, the people making money off of you, which is not me, are not always going to tell you the truth. Not all of them. There's no regulation in place when it comes to these kind of things. There's FDA black box warnings, but that still does not stop the mass influx of Botox use. And I'm not saying that it needs to disappear, although with all the stories that I've read and all the people that I know that have been hurt, I really wish I could eradicate it off the planet, have every single woman not feel like they need to put themselves at risk. But I also understand that is not reality. The least I could do is share these stories and platform these incredible women as they go through their healing journeys and warn others about the dangers of Botox. Now, before we jump into this fire episode with Stephanie, I just want to remind you, if you are listening on Rumble, Apple, or Spotify, turn on notifications and leave your babe a review if you're feeling so kind. That helps me so much. You guys get out in the algorithm. Tiny little Canadian, always suppressed. So any help that you could give me to get this show out is so appreciated. If you are looking to find me on social media this year, you'll find me on Instagram and TikTok at the Be Real Babe podcast. And as mentioned, you can find exclusive content on YouTube about our current government here in Canada and internet tea if you are into that kind of thing. But thank you guys so much. It's been an incredible first month of the podcast of season 9. I can't even believe how fast time is going and how amazing people that are coming on the show. I just want to thank you guys for listening and joining me. But I'm going to shut up. This is an extra long intro. This is such a great episode. You guys need to get into it. So let's go. All right, babes, it's time to get on to the show. And with me today, I have a wonderful guest joining me for her first time. I'd like to welcome Stephanie to the show. Hey, babe, how's it going?
Hi, good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for our talk today. I'm really sorry that this is how we have to connect. I really hate, like I was saying to Amanda, I really wish it was like we were on a tour that we won over in Greece, like having a girlies empowerment session. But instead, we're going to empower our people to speak their truth, and today as well with you and your story. But before we get into your experience with Botox, do you want to just give the community kind of like a little Cole's note of who Stephanie is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm coming from Queen Creek, Arizona. The desert. I'm a Northern California girly, but I've been here for the past 15 years. I'm a wife. I'm a mom to two amazing teenage boys. Um,
Kept you
and
busy, I'm sure.
yes, and then two golden retrievers and a little rescue Shih Tzu. So I'm a fur mama and a boy mama. So
That's
yeah,
a
and
handful. And are the golden retrievers boys too? Is it all boys? You got some girl energy in
a,
there.
a boy and one girl.
Okay,
So
okay. You got some girl
yeah,
energy in the house.
yeah.
As I say, that's a lot. I can imagine for men too, but that's amazing. And teenagers, oof, that's a fun age. I'm sure where you're going through this, like that might be a more positive. At least they were like adults that you could be like, "Yo, shit's going on," and not like toddlers. So like, sorry to pull a glimmer out, but I was just like, "Oh, good, our boys are teens. At least you could be like, handle your business, boys."
Exactly.
For
Yeah.
the most part. So let's walk into your journey with Botox and how this all happened. So before you got your injections, were okay. Sorry, let me start from the beginning. Um, when did you start getting injections, and were you healthy prior to?
Yeah. So I was a big fan of injections, right? I don't know like the history of Botox, like when people first started getting them, but I was probably right there, like close to it. Because I was 26 years old
Okay.
when I just had my son, and his dad was actually doing a job for a man who owned a med spa, and they did like a little trade. And he came home one day and he's like, "Do you want to get Botox?" And I remember new mom, sleep deprived, and I don't know if it was commercials. Like I keep thinking about this. Like, how did I stumble upon it and why did I want it so bad? But I just remember I always had people, this is the worst, when people say, "You look tired." It's like, oh, dude,
When has ever been a positive thing? Like truly, like
never.
I don't, you know how some things like it's tone and it's how it's being delivered. I don't think I've ever heard that being delivered in any nice tone. Like it could be from Mickey Mouse and I want to punch you in the fucking face. Like it's just never great.
Exactly. I think
Thanks.
that's what I say to my husband. It's like so
Totally.
fucking rude.
So rude. So rude. It's
Like,
just not something to say. You should be like, "How you
no,
doing?" That's a good enough
yeah.
question.
It's
Like
that. Instead of saying, "Hey, how are you? You look like shit."
totally. And like a new mom, like fuck off. I feel like that's just like, yeah, like how about not? How about ask them something positive? Like I'm sure people are just on pilot mode. They don't mean it, but sometimes I really wish like people try to program some of those sentences out of their mouths. Just a thought.
Absolutely. So like I said, I think that's what really sparked it for me. I became hooked after that. I then worked at a plastic surgery office, and so I was doing all the things, breast implants, like assisting the doctor while doing it. I was a surgical technician. But then on my lunch breaks, it just became, do you want your lips bigger? Do you want to freeze your forehead? Like what? I mean, that's how it was when you worked in an office like that. So I really became addicted to it and also lost like a whole sense of like how I used to look pre all the injections too. They actually here in Arizona, you keep your driver's license for quite a long time.
Okay.
But when I went in to retake my picture, they actually had to get like approval basically because I didn't look like at all the woman that was on my photo prior. So I mean like I was starting to look pretty different. It's really the lips, but
Very fair. I just never thought about that because I guess with us, it's like every couple of years we have to get one because, our Canadian government likes to get as much money as they can out of us. So I never actually thought about that of people getting anything of restructuring or anything like that at all, that must like maybe question some people if you've got someone on a day that's being an extra Karen that's like, you really don't look like that. That's interesting. Thanks for bringing that up. I never would have thought about that. And I just want to affirm you're working in an office, completely different, but I was a dental receptionist. And anytime there was like any sort of dental work or cleaning open, we would always jump in. So like I can relate that like my oral health was so good when I worked for the dentist because any openings you're just like are on your lunch break, you're like, sure, it just
yeah.
makes my life easier. So I can imagine if it's something like that, super easy to get done, and then all of a sudden you get addicted to it, and it's a place where no one's going to tell you not to. Right? Like maybe if you were at home and it wasn't around, maybe it wouldn't have been on your mind as much, but you're there around it. You're seeing all these people aren't reacting in front of you. So like, of course, why wouldn't you? Like, sounds easy to me.
Yeah. And I loved it. And I loved, that false, I should say false sense of, pretty that I was feeling because I was enhancing a lot of, my features and things, changing things I didn't like about myself. So I've, looked really deep into this since all this has happened too, as to why we want to do this to ourselves too, right? Like, what is the drive behind not being okay with how God originally made me? So,
Absolutely. And honestly, I feel like so many of us go through it and we just go through different ways of it, right? Like we're all searching other ways. Like I know you can't see right now, but like I'm filled with tattoos. And at the time, I never thought it was like, oh, it's to hide myself. It was like, oh, because it makes me look hotter, makes me look like different. I'm like alternative because I'm never going to be Barbie. Like I got no boobs. I'm terrified of needles. So I'm not going for surgery because I'm more scared of surgery than that, right? And I'm just total polar opposite of what Barbie should look like. And so like I went the alternative, like, okay, well, I'm going to look like an alternative girly then, and it's just like at the time I didn't think about it. And now I'm like, how much medals and like going back, like, okay, was I like super anxious because of all the medals that we're going through? And like, and then that just sputters you and you're just like, well, was I doing this? Like, I'll never regret it because at the time you did it what you wanted to.
right.
And I luckily wasn't sick from them. But now I'm very much questioning going forward, being like, is this worth it? And am I doing it because I want to enhance myself or is it because I want to cover myself up and hide? So I totally understand it's such a performative or not, sorry, like a deep thing that you have to perform inside and being like, because you can stop doing it. An injury can happen, but the thoughts are probably still going to be there as to like, I want to continue doing it, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair to
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, absolutely. And then to piggyback or answer rather your question about if I was healthy prior, I've also been diving really, really deep trying to figure out. I also have a sleeve, and I was like, is it the ink from that mixed with the toxins from implants plus the Botox? Because that's the $1 million question, right? Like, why did it happen to me? Because I've been getting injections done for over a decade and I've never had any problems. And August 13th of 2024, my life changed in a, well,
Blink.
20-minute session, however long I was there. So, yeah, but like you said, it makes you think about all sorts of things as to why we were doing things. And like I said, I think now about every single, like the ink has been something I've been thinking a lot about too. Just all the
Same.
stuff we do.
Yeah, and it's like, and I guess for me, is I just want girls and myself and all that to think of like, is it worth the risk? And we don't have informed consent when we don't actually know the risks, right? So that's my frustration. Is because I thought, and I know a lot of people think, well, you go somewhere, you sign papers, you signed it, well, you had informed consent. No, that is not it. That's a part of it, but someone should be sitting down and said, okay, you signed this. Do you understand? Do you understand the positives? Do you understand the negatives? Do you understand how this is mechanically, scientifically, like, not to the like
Yeah.
level, but you have an understanding of how this is going to work.
Yeah.
And that's across the board on anything. And I feel like so many women go, well, I signed the thing. And it's like, yeah, that's still not informed consent, dude. Like you should really know. And furthermore, how can they give full consent when they don't do research on this stuff as much and they're so dismissive? And half of the people that should be knowing this stuff, neurologists, like
Mhm.
cardiologists, general practitioners for how common Botox is, you'd think that they would have an idea, right? At least of like, okay, like I don't know how you don't link it to not linking it to like fucking with your nervous system. Like you're putting poison in your body. I don't care if people claim it doesn't travel. You're still injecting something. Anytime you add something to your body, even water, there's
Mm.
risks, right? So it's like, so for yourself, did you get warned at all? Like, did you sign a paper? Was there any talk of like, hey, bro, by the way, your face or whatever happened to you might happen?
No, and so like I said, it was such a normalcy to do it back when I worked in the plastic surgery office. So then moving forward, I didn't even choose necessarily like injectors based on skill set. It was just like me going to get my nails done. It was like I would kind of jump around to different places. And no, there was absolutely no consent. Um, the price of Botox had also gone up. And there's so many different types of Botox too. So when I got sick, I had actually received, it's called Jeuveau.
Okay.
I had actually, and that's only because it was the best deal. Like I had gone to another med spa several months ago, and I got the same thing. So I had actually been injected with Jeuveau 3 times prior.
Okay. So it wasn't like
Again,
first time.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
no. And it's the usual, like you said, like a very generic consent. They don't sit you down at all to discuss anything about it. So truly, when I was trying to explain to my family and everyone how shocked I was when it was all happening, it was like, I truly didn't know, like truly didn't. And when my symptoms started and the injector sent me a text message asking how, if it had kicked in yet and how my face was looking, when I started texting her back and explaining something really, really bad was happening to me, there was zero accountability. There was zero resources for me. There was zero assistance. I just had a girlfriend send me Gretch's Instagram. And that is the only reason I was able to find out anything risk wise that women and men were suffering from one of the deadliest toxins on the earth.
And
So,
isn't that crazy that the people that eject it aren't talking about this, aren't warning about this, aren't even, and I get it. I get it. Not the best business model, sure. I
right.
don't think that the beauty industry is short of any money. And I don't think it would hurt if some of them didn't make as much money by just being like, hey, I want you to have informed consent. Now, I understand, like, people can sit there and the naysayers will say, well, you can't say that it is because there's no studies. Again, who the fuck is going to fund something that goes against how they're going to make money? And furthermore to that, like you said, sometimes it is hard, but like, we can say that the accumulation is something to look into. Your body's going to be done at a certain point and be like, enough toxins, baby. Like, I don't know,
Mm,
elder millennial. I had a lot of like bad
yeah.
hairspray and like glitter spray, all that kind of stuff, right? So in my going into 40s, I'm really trying to like, how do I get some of this stuff out of my body? And so it just blows my mind that they will deny that putting this in your body when basic stuff like we know that some makeups can do that. So overdoses of you know what I mean? All this endocrine and disruptors, we know that, but it's like, oh no, Botox is safe. It's like, okay, maybe for certain people sometimes, but can we just acknowledge that it maybe isn't sometimes too? Like it truly
Right.
blows my mind. So in that space that you're in while you're working, was that the basic idea is that all the stuff that we're doing is essentially safe and like there's outliers, but
Yes.
that's just
Yes.
that's rare.
Yes. And to be completely transparent, I have a younger sister who is a way ahead of me in like the holistic side of things. And she used to always send me stuff. And I never even, she sent me like news articles or whatever she was doing research on. I wouldn't even click on it. I wouldn't even, Amy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I just did
Sorry, sis.
because I just was such a firm believer that it was women like my sister who were so confident in their own skin and who, you know, knew that this stuff wasn't safe and that was just their belief system. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, I've been doing it for so many years. So like, I'm good. Like, I'm
Totally.
good. Thank you, but no, thank you.
Yes.
Um, and so the fact that it happened to me, like I am still not trying to bash Botox because I know women are going to continue to get Botox for a very, very long time. And for some women, they'll continue to have gorgeous results for many, many years
Totally.
without any issues. And I just am the person that was them, that believed it would never happen to me, that believed it was going to be part of my beauty regimen for
Ever.
truly the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Fair.
I thought I was going to be an 80-year-old grandma, frozen, you know, like, so,
That was your journey. Yeah. That's fair.
yeah, that was. And I just want to, like I said, be transparent about that. Like, I am not coming at an angle to shame people who have, you know, or continue to get it. Because I have friends now that don't want to tell me. All of my friends get it.
Yeah. That's fair.
All of them.
That's fair. I was going to ask
And,
that too. Is it something that's common around your area? That's very fair. Yeah.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
We have
So
this like
here,
page that's like, oh, where's the best Botox injector? And all these people are writing, and here's Brandy. Make sure you have informed consent and post copy and paste me and Gretchen Terry's episode. And like one girl
oh,
laughed, and I'm like, you're gonna laugh at people that got injured. Like, fine, do whatever you want, but again, do it with informed consent. So thank you for being very transparent for that too, because I feel like a lot of people are like, especially to someone like me who's never got it and speaks out like against it, they're like, oh, you're just a hater, you're just jealous. Like, sure, if that's what makes you feel like the information I'm putting out there is that's it, but that's not true. It's because I
Mm-hmm.
do this kind of thing because I had my own awakening. I had my own like medical procedure awakening with birth control at a very young age. And so now when I hear, oh, it's safe, I'm like, I've heard this before. I've been told this before, and I got really sick. And then I start meeting people. Same thing. I was actually in the breast implant illness world, and it kind of pushed me into Gretch. And I was like, what is this? And then I pulled it up, and it was the same thing. It was like, and it was right at the age where I was like, okay, I'm getting closer to 40s. Because like when I grew up, Botox was definitely more in the like 50s, 60s. It wasn't like 20-year-olds getting it. It wasn't 30s, 40s. It was like 50s, 60s, rich women. But I'm from a small island in Vancouver, so like give me credit. But and so now it's like people at 2021 are getting it, and I'm like, oh. And you say, oh, we're gonna do this for the rest of our lives, and my worry is like, what is that gonna look at 20, 30 years? Look, but feel on the inside, and just like, and we talked about this with Amanda too, and she said, and both you said the same thing, like wondering why you did this or why this happened to you. Sorry. And as much as I hate to say it, I think that you guys are the messengers to tell other women, like, just be, but not from judgment, just from, hey, this could happen. And if this happens, you need to fucking advocate for yourself. You need to do this, that, and the other. Because what I hear from most of you guys is that you're then put on this weird ass medical journey of trying to figure out what it is with no answers that are just heightening your anxiety, making you feel worse. When at the beginning, we couldn't just say, like, hey, this is going to happen. Your body's got to ride it out. Instead, it's like, got a heart problem? Got a stroke? You got this? You got that? You got this? And meanwhile, you're like, am I dying? And like, maybe you are, but maybe you weren't, and your body was just working through that. Is that similarly what happened to you? Let's go back to your August. Was it like your injector wasn't giving you help? And then what was your next steps after that?
The ER. I truly felt that I was dying. And yeah, I mean, where do you go when you think that you're going to die? You go to the emergency room. We went, I was told by the ER doctor there that, male, that I reminded him of his wife and that my cup was just too full, that I seemed very anxious. And he prescribed me, like some sort of an allergy med that I guess doubles as an anxiety med or just slows down your heart rate. And I'm like looking at him like, I remind you of your fucking wife. Like that's what you got from me right now.
Great. Good medical advice.
Yeah. Thanks so much for that. And then I was at the ER every like 2 days because a new symptom would start. And I'm not just saying like, and to anyone who's listening and who is trying to understand what this injury truly does to you, it is all consuming. Like when I tell you I have changed as a woman, I mean, I'm still in the acute phase of all of this. So like, this is still not me. And it just is so difficult. Like for my husband, for my family to see me like this, because you can't pinpoint it a lot. And these symptoms aren't just little things where it's like, oh, I have a headache, I'm going to go lay down. It's again, all consuming. It's symptoms that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Like the second time to the ER, it's because I was like, oh, I'm just having a stroke. I mean, I say just, but you're like desperate for an answer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, could it be a stroke, right? Like that's what it is. So I'm like, yep, arm. And I guess it's just one arm when you're having a stroke. But anyways, I'm like, ER people, the arms are numb. Is this stroke? So now they're doing all this test. Same thing. They're like, it's just anxiety. Do you want an IV? They give me an IV and I start full like convulse, like I'm panicking even more because of, anyways, I'm there by myself. I stopped waking up my husband in the middle of the night because that's it was so scary.
Yeah.
Like so scary that I was just like, I need to go by myself because every hour almost, and like sleep, forget about it. It's also not like, oh, I'm sick, I'm just going to go sleep this off. And anything that does help you sleep, or like the strong anxiety meds, those are actually, again, based on Gretchen's incredible healing guide that she provided for all of us in that Facebook group. Those are actually considered, sorry, I can't think of, but they're like not recommended. They can actually
make it worse.
People,
Yeah, on the don't
yes,
list.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's also like there's no relief there for any of that stuff. So yeah, it's been up until, and we're talking, that was 6.5 months ago that I was being gaslit at the ER. I just had an appointment with my primary care still, because now, like I said, things are changing. I'm having insane GI issues. I requested some like extensive sampling to be done, like blood, stool, all, and I was told that I needed to see a psychologist. This was last week. That's what I was told by my primary care physician. And he's the one that saw me in the beginning. So if you have a patient come to you 6 months later and she's not doing any better, and that's your referral to her, is to see a psychologist. I've never been more scared also throughout this process, because I have no one to go to except for all of the amazing people that were in Gretchen's support group.
And
those people.
That's so wild. And like, I don't want to shit on medical professionals. At the same time, it's like, okay, I can understand if you came back all the time and there was nothing like physically wrong with you, then okay, maybe we should go talk about what's going on inside for sure. But when you're actually showing physical symptoms, it's like, I know our brains are powerful, but usually our body reacts to something. Something is not right. And at these moments, I just think like, how fucking uneducated are you? Like that, no wonder why you guys are afraid, because it's like, that's your answer. And so what? So a psychologist could put you on an SSRI and just numb you the fuck out? Like that's what the answer is to me. It's like, oh, we'll just put her on SSRIs. That's what it sounds like. And it's like, those are dangerous as well. Like people throw those around like they're candy. And it's like, do y'all not understand, especially as you're going through something like this, you're like, I probably don't want to add as much as possible to my body. Like, like I've heard you guys sometimes can't have sugar or caffeine or those things. So it's like, so then you're going to send me to a psychologist who's going to put me on an SSRI, which is a bunch of chemicals. Who fucking knows what that's going to do when you don't know what's wrong with me? That is unethical. Sorry.
Completely. And since the Botox, I had to cut out gluten, dairy, caffeine, sugar, anything processed. So I'm still right around, I can only eat like 5. I eat the same 5 things every single day. I've only lost, so I say only, but the weight came off really, really fast in the beginning because of everything. Like when my throat, when I couldn't swallow, that was one of the symptoms. Eating was nearly impossible. So, 15 pounds, and just, it's crazy. Like you said, that I'm still feeling this way. I'm the healthiest I've ever been my entire life. Like I'm still like, I used to be a food, like I love food.
Yeah, fair. It's good. It's great.
Wow. Like I can't believe I haven't had a piece of like bread or a sandwich, a bagel, things that I used to really enjoy. As far as diet and, just eating clean, organic. So that has also just been extremely frustrating to continue to have my symptoms just take over my life. And like I said, just not have the help. And then, like you said, oh, but they want me to take an SSI medication or just Xanax, to be just a walking Xanax zombie, like for 7 months. I mean, this is crazy. So.
And how long are you expected to do that? Like, where's the answers? Like, that's what I just don't understand with that. It's like, oh, take a medication. And then, okay, but what? What are you going to help me with? Like, medication should be to help you over a period of time, not like be the be all end all. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's what I don't understand. Where's the look into the prevention? Where's the look into making sure you don't relapse? Like, but instead it's just throwing medications at people. And I never understand this. It's like, and then again, like putting you through, and it's like, okay, why not explore that it could be Botox? What is that really hurting people besides the beauty industry? Like, I get maybe the injectors being like cognitive dissonance, but when it comes to the medical field, why there? they're not making any money off of it. Is it
Right.
because they just want to loop you into their medical system in another way?
Right.
Not to
Well,
accuse.
and Brandy, that's the hardest part because so after you get your Botox injection, there's typically like some sort of a point system to keep you coming back
Mm,
because you're going to get money off your next treatment. So when
marketing.
I got my point email from Jeuveau, I've received that email multiple times, never looked at it before. But of course, I had a lot of time on my hands since I was bedridden. And I scrolled down. That email has the black box warning on the email. On the email.
So is
And then,
that their way to get out of it?
I mean, it must be. Like the warning's right there. She got it to her email every time.
But you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
sneaky. It's just being like, hey, no one's gonna read. But that's again not informed consent. Like, sure, sure. But again, people are busy. Like, that's just human decency. Like, I fucking hate that. Like, yeah, sure, you sent it in an email. Who's looking at that? And what do you mean? Explain what black box means. Explain what that's going to happen. Explain the potential risks. So if I do react that way, I can go to the hospital and say, hey, look, like you shouldn't have to go to Google. Like you could Google it and show them and be like, this is on Google. Black box warning Botox. What the fuck do you mean? Like,
And any medical doctor should also take something with a black box warning label extremely seriously because I had to learn and educate myself that the only medications, drugs, toxins, whatever that have that on there is if it can actually kill you. So like
exactly.
we don't have that on our Tylenol. We don't have that on, you know, most things. And I learned that from Gretch on a podcast. Like she broke it down and just really explained the whole and I sent it to all, well, not all my girlfriends
Of
because
course.
honestly,
It's hard.
a lot of my girlfriends don't understand. And I had like warning signs. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know if it's breast implant illness stuff like right around the time I was planning my wedding. So like 3 years ago, I was having like little things. So some friends I think associate it with like, well, Steph was always kind of, she kind of always had.
There's
And I'm
things.
like, yeah, and I'm like, no, 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 no. This is, but anyways, I tried to send it to, my girlfriends that were open and supportive to it because I really want people, and no one knows. No one knows. A few of my girlfriends work in aesthetics. So same thing. I tried to honor them with that too. Like, I get this is your bread and butter. I
Oh,
get that you're not going to quit your job because one of your close girlfriends was poisoned by it. Like, I get it. And I'm not asking for that.
no.
But same thing, like what you were saying, I can't just stress that enough. Like, there needs to be a protocol, there needs to be resources. I mean, we have no one right now without that Facebook page. And truly, like, it sent me into a spiral of my heart breaks for these women. Had I not had those resources, Brandy, I truly don't know where I'd be today.
I know.
I don't.
I know. And I tell her that all the time. Like, these women, even just people sharing their stories, validating the conversations, right? And it's so beautiful the relationships you guys have made with
Yeah.
that and helped each other. And it's just like, how is this such a gap in the world? How is it? It has to be patient and advocate led. Why isn't professionals being like, hey, we want to make this better because we do want to provide this service for women that want to do these things, but we want to do it in a way that is safe for them. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm crazy, but I really think there should be like a mental health component to it. Like, what are you getting these for? Because just as an addict, like a recovered drug addict, it's not helpful when people validate your addictions. And this is probably gonna be maybe controversial, but there's people that are providing it. I think we have to look inside and ask, are we validating these insecurities for some of these women? Maybe not all, okay? I understand that if I got work done, it would be because I'm insecure and I needed to fix that. So I understand that's not everyone's story, but for just me, if I went in and someone's like, yeah, let's, because you can't see it, but I am a Harry Potter man. I have a good one. I worry a lot. I work in cannabis. I read the internet. I got on TikTok recently. This is here, right? And I feel like if I went and got it done, that person would be like, yeah, you would look so much better with that. And I think that would stick with me forever. It's just like I constantly have to hide this because some woman named Becky that injected me said that I would look better. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just, I struggle so hard to be like, even complimenting people that get work done, because then I feel like inside I'm saying that you weren't good enough before, and that, yes, this change made you feel better. And maybe there's a part of you that did validate that it makes you feel better. But then I also feel like it validated the little girl inside that you weren't good enough to begin with. And just going through my own journey of self-worth right now, I just don't know that I could do that. I'd rather take the hate and be canceled. I don't know. Maybe unpopular opinion.
No, 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 no. I fully agree. And, the only good thing I will say, being gaslit by those doctors did lead me because, again, I have a lot of time on my hands. So I had been searching for a therapist for so, so long. And God has just worked in such amazing ways throughout this process. And I found a therapist immediately. She only had like a week, from intake to our first actual appointment. She is truly like my angel. She is so kind to me. She's not traditional. I mean, like, I can text her if I need something, and she is good, like, so good. And yeah, there's so much truth to what you just said. And I was insecure for a very, very long time. A boy said something to me when I was a freshman in high school, and it stuck in that whole "you're not good enough." And then it was the implants in my early 20s, and it was constantly trying to fit that mold as someone, who has issues with my dad and stuff like that. It was just like, I wanted to look a certain way for a man, and I wanted to fit the beauty standards that, and now, I mean, it's just, it's everywhere, right? You're looking at these images on TikTok and Instagram and all the things, right? And you just really have to do that inner work. And so it ain't easy.
Oh my gosh, no.
Not like, sometimes I tell my therapist that I'm like, I'm dealing with like that, like, body healing stuff. And now we're going like doing the inside work too. So I oftentimes question, I'm like, should I be doing this simultaneously? Because it's a little fucking intense. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a lot at once because it's coming up too, and your body's
Yeah.
releasing stuff, and then like as you're holding stuff, like it's all together, and it is a lot. But I think you're gonna make it through, obviously, because like 6 months out, like part of me thought you're gonna say like a year and a half. So like for 6 months, like I know you probably don't feel that way, but just like your passion to share and like share your honest truth like that's happened really on a fast timeline. So I really want to commend you for that, because I think a lot of the times we don't look at our growth. And obviously I didn't meet you at the beginning, but to see like, you're coming into almost a year and you're just already so passionate to help other people and to heal yourself and to get better and figure that out. And I think that's so powerful, because so many people, like you said, would just say, you know what, it happened to me once. Well, whoops, that was a one-time thing. It's never going to happen again. Like, people that do get injured, they do go back. I actually have seen this one lady that went really viral. I want to say like a year and a half ago, in her eye. I don't know if you see her. She was like an influencer. She was from the States, and her eye like completely drooped. And she went really, really viral. And a lot of people are like, and she was very honest about it, which was great, because she was like a fashion influencer. So she was on social media every day. So it's not like she could just disappear. And she actually went back and kept getting injected after. And I was a little shocked, because it took like a solid, like, and she like made memes out of it, out of herself. Like, she really like played into it, which I guess is a good thing. And like, if that's how you want to heal, but then she went right back to it. And I was just like, again, you do whatever you want, but like sometimes that mental hold on you, like, think about drug addicts. Like, they see the shit that happens to them, right? And they know that it's bad, but they just can't stop. And the shittiest thing about the beauty industry addictions is that it's so fucking ingrained in us. It's so fed to us through social media. Like, growing up as like, I guess I'm elder millennial, like, there's much music and there's Playboy, but it was at like an arm's length. Like, those were
Right.
celebrities. They were obviously photoshopped and unattainable and had plastic surgery. Now, as we're all trying to heal from this, now social media has come in, and now there's filters on everybody. There's AI, like, there's so many things that we didn't get to have to compare ourselves to before. And we were young, and some of the kids, they're younger, so they don't have these things, but then we're hearing about kids at Sephora and worrying about and I'm just like, oh, what are we doing? We need to course correct here. And millennials, I'm calling us all out. We got to course correct here for the younger generation, okay? Like, we
Yeah.
don't need 21-year-olds injecting their face and putting Sephora stuff on their fucking
Mm,
skin at 6 years old. Could you
it's
imagine?
crazy.
And
I know.
I honestly wondered too, like, you having teen boys, is that kind of like that generation? Are they really hooked into this kind of like fix themselves culture as well? Do you see? I'm not around them. I'm 38, so I have no idea. Now I'm kids, I have cats. So outside of TikTok, I don't know what the fuck's going on in real life.
Um, yeah, so it's actually TikTok. So our struggle right now is if they see it on TikTok, it's you know, you don't go to mom anymore and ask her, oh, like, oh, my skin's breaking out, like, what should I do? My son sees it on TikTok and comes to me and he's like, I need this and that, because you know these people are posting all these videos and stuff. And so my husband and I joke that because we wanted a girl, and we have our two boys, and when they started being really into skincare, we joked because they fight over the bathroom time and all that because they're gua shaing their face. They have like a 10-step skincare routine. So
It's not just
it's
the
not just
girlies.
the little girls. The guys are using the serums, the washes, the moisturizers, and all the things. And yeah, we're like, wow, we kind of got our girls.
Yeah,
there.
well, and I think that's good. Like, because boys usually at that age have bad hygiene. So amazing. Kudos. They
Right.
usually are stinky, right? But it's
Right.
like, and it's the line, right? I guess to your point, it's not just the girls that can suck into it, the marketing. And that's what I wanted to say earlier when we were talking, like, how did this happen? Well, fuck, every time we turn around, like I said, we're being marketed. Like, my dentist even told me that I was like, no shade to her. She's a great dentist, but she even told me that I was a unicorn because at the time I was 37 and I've never got Botox. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm here to get a filling done. Why are we talking about Botox and now you're making me insecure sitting in a fucking dental office? Like, what? Like,
They do Botox there.
yeah, in the dental offices. Yeah, they do it for headaches, but they'll then can do it for cosmetic while you're there. And I'm just like, okay. And I was like, if you only knew, girly, what I do on my spare time, like you would not be asking. And me, out of all people, me, like I've been talking about Botox illness since 2021. So it's not something that I haven't been talking, not that she would watch my podcast, but I was just like, like to your point, some people don't talk to me and aren't friends with me because of the things that I call out, because they're just not ready to hear it. And that's okay. It's all good. I'm just like,
Yeah.
here's just this little seed, babe. Just take this seed
Yeah.
just so that you fucking know if your tests are coming back, you're sick, you're anxious, you're not sure, you feel out of body, you feel like you're going to die, and everyone's telling you we don't know, and you start calculating back, and you're like, hey, this just started happening kind of when I got Botox. I'm just saying, stop it for a bit.
Yeah. And see.
What's the pain of like, arrête for a second. Sorry, that's French. Stop for a second. Stop. Give yourself some time. Give yourself a year or two. See what happens. You know what I mean? And like, is it fair to say that once you get into it, it's like addicting? So like time, like, if they say like, oh, come back every year, do you notice as you go, like maybe you go in a little bit sooner, a little sooner? Or is it like something you can really leave to like once a year? Is it like over time you get more addicted so you go more, kind of like an addict just does more pills or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, and also super interesting. So I had just got my veneers done at the dental office, and his wife does Botox there. And so new office. And so because the veneers were so fucking expensive, though, I was like, I got to chill on the Botox a little bit. So I had actually went way over, but it's that addiction to, and I'm 41, and I'm constantly like, you're supposed to have crow's feet. Like, you're supposed to have, expression when you raise your eyebrows, Stephanie. Like, come on, girl. Get like now.
Yes.
But when you're in it and you don't understand or see the risk, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, I mean, I know I always explain it to nails, but that's really how it is. Like how you're like, I need a fill.
Yeah.
It's just like, it becomes such this routine thing with no risk that you're just like, okay, I'm gonna, gotta add that to the calendar next week. I got some movement in my face. So
Totally.
it's wild.
It is wild. And too, like over time, and that's what I think with people that I understand too, it's not even the physical buildup of the product itself. It's again, like going back to my point of like, what is that reiterating to yourself? And if we think about our thought patterns, it's kind of like, I always like to think about them as like in a garden, right? And you're digging and you're digging. And the more you dig, the deeper that rut's going to be. And when you decide that I don't want this thought pattern anymore, you're going to have to throw shit and that dirt back in there. And sometimes at the same time, you're fucking throwing it right back out because your brain is, you know what I mean? And you're like, I just told myself I look fine. And 5 minutes later, you're like, oh shit, no, I don't. And it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's such an inner battle. It's ridiculous. And so I always tell people, like, just keep filling that rut, you guys. Like, just keep doing it every single time, every pattern. Every time you hear it, counteract it, call it out, make other people call it out around you. That's
Yeah.
huge in your support system. If you're like, oh, I need to go do this or I don't look good, like, girl, no, say nice 3 things. And like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
just because I've never done it, don't think that I don't think about doing it. I have all of it. I am a stoner. Do you know how much I laugh? I'm fucking funny too. So we laugh all the time. So we have big smile wrinkles over here. And I constantly worry about that too, right? And think, do people think that I'm not pretty because, you know, you can see my face and my wrinkles and they're really starting to see my age. I don't look like, and I'm someone who people don't even know is like 38 years old when they see me. And I'm just like, it's the weed. But, just kidding. But it's something that now that I've understood the impact and the risks, and now I'm understanding the interpersonal risks and what that does to, let's say babies, when they don't see the full expressions, they don't understand, like they don't learn those kind of things. Right. And then I think, you know, what a privilege it is when I sit with my girlfriends and we're all laughing and we see those lines and it's just like, look at us, like the privilege of age. I lost 3 friends. I was 21, 23, and 24, and I'd lost 3 close friends. And I think ever since then, I had a different perception of the world of just being like, I'm so blessed to be alive. And if they were alive, was that shit that they would care about? I don't think so. Maybe. Well, 2 of them were boys, so probably not. But, you know, like I do wonder about, like, they would just want to be alive. They just want to be able to breathe. So am I focusing on the right things? Is this where my energy should be? Is that fair to say?
I just told my husband that this morning. Because of everything going on, I am a walking gratitude expresser from the moment I open my eyes. And again, I hope people understand how serious the symptoms are, that you truly do think that you are going to die.
Sure.
And so when I wake up in the morning, I thank God that I have another day to spend with my family, to be with my sons. And then everything after that. And that's the great thing about gratitude too, right? Like it's just such a, like, so my husband and I were talking about this, then it just snowballs into you have a roof over your head, you have food to eat, your children are healthy, your dogs are healthy. So it just helps me so much because it's dark. These past 6 months have been the darkest times in my life. And that addiction that I had before, I mean, like in the beginning, I had like several months where I would look at myself in the mirror and I would be like, I'm not going to be able to get Botox anymore. Like, I'm not okay with that. Like I would tell my girlfriend on the phone, like, I'm not okay with not getting Botox. Like, I keep thinking about it. Like, I'm not okay with it. And then, you know, as things progressed and for how long, like, my life was taken from me. I haven't been to one of my son's basketball games this year. I haven't been able to go on family trips. We've had to cancel things like spring break. Right now, we're supposed to go somewhere. It's this huge gamble. Is mom even going to be able to go? I've taken so much. And my boys are getting older. I only have, you know, 3 more spring breaks with my oldest. And so it's like, you know, the little things that mean so fucking much in my life were literally stolen from me. And so I'm so glad that I just, you know, worked through all that in the beginning, because for a day with my family, for a day to just be grateful, like you said, what a privilege it is to laugh and see those smile lines and crow's feet and all that. It's just it truly is a privilege.
That's such a beautiful way. And that is such a key thing to have. And it is when you have to dedicate yourself to doing even 5, write a list of 5 things a day. And every single day, sometimes, you know, you do the basics, like the people around you, your jobs, the things. And then all of a sudden some days are harder and you're like, I'm happy that I have hands. And you're like,
Yeah,
but wait, some people don't have hands though, bro. So like,
exactly.
fuck yeah, I got hands and I got 5 fingers. There's five. You know what I mean? Like, even
It's
if that's it, like, that's still
yeah.
great. And I always think about that when I work out. That is my biggest motivation to always move my body, is remembering people that cannot, for physical reasons, mental reasons, because they're working through stuff, like girlies like you. I'm like, okay, do that, because you know what? They can and you can. So you have no, and some days, obviously, I'm not like a drill sergeant, but it's just like being grateful to be able to do that. Because when you're sick and you're in recovery, all you think about is when you used to be not, and how much you, and even when you have a cold, like even if someone has a
Oh,
flu and you're puking, you're like, oh my God, I wish I was never puking again, right? But this is on, like you said,
yeah.
a level of like debilitating, like a condition that you're in. So like we kind of blew past it. But so you got injections. What were the symptoms? So if girlies are having this happen, what happened to you to trigger you up to going to the hospital? Because you said right away, hey, shit's not good, you were
Yeah.
dismissed. But what were the symptoms?
So the first day, again, when the injector had texted me that night just to see how I was doing, I texted her back and I said, hey, is it normal? I remember because it was an errand day. So I went and got the Botox and I went to Costco and I pulled back into my driveway and I just felt like, when you take a Benadryl, like you're just like, your eyes want to close, like you're just so out of
Feel
it.
dopey.
Started feeling like that. And I was like, I feel like I need to lay down. Like I didn't feel well. And then I was supposed to watch, my mother-in-law was going out of town. So we were supposed to go take care of my husband's grandma. And I was like, maybe I'm getting COVID again. Because at this time, everyone's getting COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe it's just COVID. So I got a test. I'm like, I'm getting sick. And then so it was just like an overall, for the next 3 days, just like an unwell feeling, like sick. And then I remember asking my husband to bring me home Chipotle on his way home, and I got a chicken bowl, and I took 2 bites of it, and I couldn't swallow. And yeah, so then the swallowing thing lasted. It felt like it is just the scariest feeling. It's like you literally can't swallow. The next was breathing. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Then that followed, like I said, then that night it was my arms going numb, then my legs going numb, to the point where, I could hardly walk some days. Like I would be in the grocery store. I forced myself up probably a lot more than I should have in the earlier days, because I was just so like, what's going on? Like I can do this. But I remember like pushing the grocery cart, like, and I needed the grocery cart was like,
Hold me up.
yeah, holding me up. And that's just when the anxiety and fight or flight was unlike anything I've ever experienced before. Racing heart, 185 beats per minute for just resting. What else? Oh, eye dryness, super dry eyes.
Without weed, that's just no fun.
What else? Gosh,
You have
there's
a lot
so
of
many.
brain fog too, I imagine, like just like
Oh, yeah,
discombobulation and like not sure where you are. Like
yeah,
poisoning, like you're being poisoned.
yeah.
Weird.
But really, that big one was the disassociation, and I didn't know what that was for the longest time. I felt like I was on a boat, so there was like the vertigo dizziness thing, but it was also like the world didn't feel like I was in it,
Real.
like I was outside of my body. Um, and just not every GI symptom you could possibly think of. And so the hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I've spent seeing naturopaths and stuff, it's also difficult because, they're recommending do hydrocolon therapy sessions and take this and take that. And again, all of that is on the no-no list when you're healing. So, I can't stress enough too, like the importance of having a support group that understands and hears you, because it's often met with a lot of, for me and some people around me who do love me and they want me to heal. So like, well, come on, Stephanie, just like try this. But it's like, I know my body and I truly trust the only guide that I've had, throughout this process. I'm just not willing, if you know how scary it is to have all of these symptoms and be bedridden and house ridden, it's like the thought of taking something else to make it worse. I'm like, what's going to happen if I take that? Like, I can't get any worse,
Yeah,
you know?
totally. And I get what you're saying. It's like unsolicited advice where it's like you're coming from a place of help, but the women that have been through this, that have listened to so many stories and all of this, that actually care, that have been gathering this data for years, that have scientific backgrounds in this stuff, like they're saying no respectfully. I feel like they're going to
Right.
know a little bit more. I'm not trying to be rude. And again, it's always come, I'm sure the intention behind it always is always great. And it's like, I'm not taking your advice because I don't like you. You don't understand how awful this is. And to that point, too, I wanted to talk to you, too, about what are things that people around you or anybody around someone with a Botox injury can do to support you. Because I know, just coming from someone with a mom who has an invisible illness, you get dismissed a lot. And I know that you guys, as well as a collective of Botox, especially with the mass cognitive dissonance that is out there for this product, what are some things that people can do to help support you while you're healing?
Really just having a space to talk about what you're going through and how you're feeling without judgment, without that criticism of, again, medications to try, or, maybe avenues that you haven't gone down yet, because it is so hard for them to understand, and every day is different. So, like, sometimes my husband would be like, well, are you going to post that? Because if people see that you're doing something today, are they going to think that, we didn't want to go, if we got invited out to go do something,
Totally.
or whatever. And, I actually had a friend who said to me, I would have never known based on your Instagram, because I still posted my Christmas family picture. And,
Your highlight reel? Weird.
yeah,
Weird.
here's that. And I literally said that because, yeah, she does the same thing with hers. Like, you would never know what's really going on in her life.
Totally. That was just a
But
mere moment. That's all it was. She was like, "Oh, you can't possibly be having a bad time." Like, no, no, no. Yeah, it can. Like, okay. Imagine if you went on Instagram and all you did was just bitch about your life.
right?
You get so many unfollows. Like, I guess, like, I
Oh,
don't know. I like drama and tea, but like, if you're just sitting there, like, not to be that way, talk to me. But like, that's not what Instagram is for. That's what real fucking life is about. So, just because you see my highlight reel on Instagram, people that know me actually know what the fuck's going on in my life. So if you don't know, then maybe that's an indication you don't know me as good as you think you do. But anyways,
and that, I know that was actually
sorry.
a really rough one, honestly, because it was a girlfriend that I really, really care about. And yeah, like I shared that with you in our emails. I crave that support from people and the understanding, because it's not black and white. It's not cookie cutter. It's not like a cold that you're going to be, cured in 7 days if you take NyQuil or whatever. It's just like, it's so crazy. Everyone's body responds so different. So, I mean, like, Amanda and these other amazing women that I've reached out to and have become friends with, you know, their their stories are different. Their symptoms are different. And you have to also be careful with that too, not to get discouraged if they started seeing better results. Like, even like Amanda specifically, I see her living her life now and I'm jealous. I see her at a concert and I'm like, I could never go to a concert right now, like with my symptoms.
Totally.
And, it's just that, like, we're all in different stages of our healing, and it comes in waves. And, yeah. So to answer your question though, just having someone to talk to, because fortunately I was never suicidal. A lot of women, and men do get that way because of how intense these symptoms are. But I think if I was alone and I didn't have, the support group around me, I could see how, that would cross people's mind. And that's why I want to speak on it. Like, I wish I could message. Like, I have a girl right now that's only 3 months post injection, and she has a young toddler and a son. And so, like, I just will never stop advocating for this, and I'll never stop being a place for women that are dealing with this to call, text, anything. Like, I want to be that support, because I know how desperately I needed it and still do. in this
Absolutely.
journey. So
Absolutely. And how powerful and beautiful that is. It's like, I fucking wish none of this happened to you guys. I wish we weren't up here talking about this, but it also just like lights my fire and inspires me anytime I go through any trial or tribulation. I remember the girls around me, the shit that they're going through, that they're pushing through. And, you know, and obviously you believe in God too. And sometimes there's just messengers and it's really shitty. And I wish that didn't have to. But at the same time, it's beautiful to see it. And then it's like, you find a power and a purpose within that pain, and then you just go forward. And it's not that to stop this, because it's never going to stop. Unfortunately, we can't stop people's pain, but we can be beside them. We can hold their hands. We can remind them of their worth. And that's my mission. I just want women to know that they're worthy and that they don't have to do all these things if they don't want to. They don't have to spend the money if they can't afford it. They don't have to look at their faces and hate themselves. Like, one big thing I'll say as an elder millennial, I watched a lot of trends. My eyebrows are never going to change because of a trend, okay? And I'm not going to go get another trend to get them bigger, because that'll just change again. So I learned by watching Monica from Friends and her eyebrows. And so like, I just want to remember that, like, a big part of this is even women with the best intentions have a job and a dollar and a bottom line. And every one of us has marketing. We all do it, you know, and it's all good. It's business, baby. I get it. But there's some extreme things that I think it's fair to call out and be like, this is not okay. You can offer these services, but please just, at the very minimum, don't gaslight when something's happening. At the very minimum, right?
very minimum.
And I think it's not there's so much at our fingertips now, guys. I don't know if you guys know, but we have these little things, and there's Google, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's so many avenues. And I know there's misinformation, but I think we can take everything with a grain of salt and just put a pin in it. You know, if you're having cognitive dissonance and you're like, absolutely, these bitches are crazy, they don't know what they're talking about, I urge you even more to hold on to this conversation and pin it for another day. Because I promise you, in time, you're going to be like, or you're going to see something and you're going to be like, oh, someone I know, or myself.
Mm-hmm.
What's even worse is when someone has to experience it themselves and they've seen someone else with it. Because it's like, you know, I just want people to be informed, like I said, because as you're going through it, if you didn't have that group and no one fucking around you told you this is what it is, you could still be spiraling in what the hell is wrong with me. And to your point, what would that have done to your mental health?
Exactly.
Your quality of life. It would have made it even worse. Not saying that it's like perfect right now. I'm not saying that, but at least you would have known. And then you could have been like, okay. And good thing you were smart enough not to add things. But imagine, and again, you were blind and all these friends would be like, try this, try that. How much worse it could have maybe gotten. And now look at all the healing that you're looking. Now you're looking at your breast implants. Now you're looking at all these things in a different light. And you're doing it in such a beautiful way where you're like, I am one of you girlies. And that's why it's so nice for me to have people like you on, because people could just look at me and say I'm a hater and I'm jealous, right? Because I've never had it and I haven't done it. So fair. That's fair to have that allegation. You can believe what you want. But you were doing it. You loved it. You still love it outside of what it did to you. And if it didn't do this to you, you probably still would have loved it. Right? But no, God was like, no, girly, you're perfect the way you are. No more. Right? And now you have to tell women. And my biggest focus is the next generation. Right? We get pissed off about Playboy, and I guess you guys had MTV. Is it MTV down there and Much Music up here? MTV, yeah. Yeah, right? And all of that and all the, you know, Hollywood, but now it's everyday people have that kind of influence on the next generation. Mm-hmm. Really, really, really want people to hone in on that. And how do we want, looking at your 12-year-old, 16-year-old self, do we want to tell them that they're not pretty enough and that they should do this? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
No. And I did have a woman on before, Dr. Amanda Savage Brown, and she's actually an explant therapist, and she wrote a book, and she has had explant herself. And she wrote a book about the same, to your point, like, why do we want to do this? Why do we constantly? And she says it goes back to like prehistoric times where if you didn't fit in with the group, you'd be exiled and you would die. And so generationally, we've just always had that thought of like, if we don't fit in, fuck off kind of thing, right? Like, that's what the oil field is anyways, right? Fair. They're a special breed, but you know, in the same idea, I think we hold that deep. So then we search, and what is it to be a part of the tribe, and marketing and all of that. And all these businesses are telling us what that is. And we get so lost in the sauce in there. And then all of us, I feel like, slowly start coming back to us and what we need and the basics and all that. Like, look at Amanda with her tallow business, right? And like now with you coming into this, it's like, okay, what is it going to be there? Obviously an advocate for other girlies. helping to be that
Yeah.
support system that you had, that, that's, on is not there at the moment, but you guys at least made those connections, right? And I'm here to always listen and connect you guys. And I just think it's so beautiful what you're doing. And I'm so sorry that you went through this, but is there anything else that you'd like to share about your story? Any advice or anything we might have missed today that you'd like to share with the community?
I just pray every single day that there's something that I can do to like help and make a change. And hopefully it's just speaking and finally having a voice, because I'm not scared to tell my story. I'm so, so grateful for this opportunity. And I, not a lot of people know, but I'm open to sharing it, because if it happened to me, it can happen to anyone.
Oh,
So
100%. And that's it. It's no one's above injury. Botox doesn't really care who you are. It's the same thing when you hear about like cancer, not relating to, but anything like that. It's going to attack anybody at any time, and it could be at different times. Everyone is different. Their toxic load, their body's ability to handle shit, your environment, like all of that matters. And at the end of the day, I think it's just what you do after the fact, right? And the fact that you're turning your pain into power, and you refuse to let it take you more than it has already taken from you at this time is just super inspiring, girl. And I can't wait to keep watching you go. And I can't wait to maybe, in 6 months to a year, have you back and see where you are and where your advocacy is. And I'm here to support you this whole time. And you want to fight and take someone down, let's do it. You want to come on and shit talk, I'm into it.
perfect.
Or even if it's just like, you want to come back and share everything that you've done in the last year that's helped you get to where you are. Like I'm fucking here for you, dude. And I just appreciate you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you so, so much, Brandy. Really.
Of
I've
course.
been looking forward to this, and you are just everything and more, even in person like this. So
Perfect. I'm so glad. I'm glad I'm your first. I don't think I'll be the last. I think I probably sparked the advocacy and how fun it is to get on and just share your story, because it's going to empower a lot of women, and it's going to plant a lot of seeds. And if at the very least it's going to have people on that thought in the back of their mind, so if something does happen, they're more equipped than you were to be able to fight and advocate. And now they have another girly in their corner that's going to sit there and help them advocate. So again, Stephanie, thank you so much.
exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys so, so much for listening. I truly appreciate the support. If you like this episode and you want to hear more, please follow the Be Real Babe podcast on Spotify, Apple, and Rumble. You can also find me at the Be Real Babe podcast on TikTok and Instagram. Until next time, guys. Bye.